My name is Bruno Serun Kejo, and I'm the founder and CEO of Vart Africa Solutions Limited. Today we are looking at digitalizing agriculture while also looking at how gender inclusiveness it is work with the digital technology. So first, let me briefly tell you about Vart Africa. This is an agri-tech company that was established in 2019. It's still not very old and registered in 2021. And what we do, we are specializing in technology to promote agricultural production and productivity. You have seen from the video issues about inputs, issues about tractor or mechanization. Then also access to agricultural markets and some consultancies in business development and local economic development. Well, this is a point I have now to be a bit slow, not very fast, because the main issue starts with the problem. We are aware, and it's a common thing, that everyone will say agriculture is the backbone of this country. To me, I want to change. Agriculture should be the spinal cord instead, not just the backbone, because it's really a very powerful tool that we should use to get us out of poverty. And we are aware that agriculture, almost 80% of those who are involved in agriculture are smallholder farmers. This one, there's no lie about it. Our presenter from Feed the Future also mentioned this, that almost everyone here are smallholder farmers. And we know that almost 85% of food supplied in the markets in Uganda comes from smallholder farmers. But these are farmers who face a lot of challenges. And more so, 70% of these smallholder farmers are women. So you see where we are heading to? So these women who are majorly producing food supplied in the whole market are facing key challenges. So I tried to bring these key points just to make us understand some of these challenges and how Vart Africa, through our digital technology, is addressing some of them. Believe me, our technology may not address all of them, but as stakeholders, if we get to understand, maybe another private sector or government or academia will come in to address one of them. So looking at the demand side as being the farmer's side. And while we are looking at this, think about the smallholder farmers and think about women. I've already given you the percentage. So they lack information and knowledge. This one, someone already talked about it. A lot of skills, a lot of information they cannot access. Limited access to inputs and services. And here I'm talking about quality improved inputs or seeds. Or our mayor talked about how they were handling some talk show with Agrisol. You know that there are input dealers in town supplying these inputs, but the local farmers in the rural areas cannot easily access them. And some of them are very costly. So considering the status of our smallholder farmers, they would want to use high quality seeds, but the costs are very high, very high. Now, you get to the production means itself. The use of hand hose. How many acres can you really dig and you get something that can drive you out of poverty? So we are saying, can the smallholder farmers, can these women access mechanization? I think the answer is yes. So that at least they can raise from 1 acre to 3 or to 5. Then late supply of these inputs. I will have to task political leaders in the house that the late supply of inputs are not only to be blamed on private sector, but it is all of us. Sometimes also inputs get to the country late, but also the roads. Access to such rural areas is a mess. Lack of access to better markets, this is also key. So because of poverty, you end up selling your inputs at a very low price. On the side of supply side, these are service providers. However much they have the inputs, but the demand is not like at once. You will get a demand in Alepton, you will get one in Bala, you will get another one in Amolatar. This demand is not aggregated. It makes business very difficult. High cost of inputs also making them charge farmers so highly. Then the unskilled operators, this is now an area of mechanization. You will bear with me that if you buy a tractor now and you bring in Lango here, you may fail to get an operator, a good one. Small-scale farmers are unable to pay for tractor services or inputs because of the high cost. So it is also making some of the private sectors in the input business moving down because the high cost some farmers cannot afford. Then on the tractor, still inadequate spare parts. What about, to us, the technology part? We lack better technology to aggregate demand. Because if the demand is aggregated, then at least access to them is much more easier. Lack of knowledge and skills to design a model to connect demand side with the supply side. When I'm talking about demand, just look at the smallholder farmers, then supply side for this purpose, look at Agrisol. just to make things more easier to understand. Then there's a very last one there, lack of trust by smallholder farmers. These are some of the challenges making our work really hard. If we are able to address these, believe me, we will move a step. It brings us now to the big idea. Our role as Vart Africa, as a private sector, in addressing some of those challenges. So we are saying when connectivity between the demand side, the farmers, the enabling environment, I wanted to talk about that in a different slide. It's coming, because it's a big thing to discuss. Yeah, so we are saying when connectivity between the demand side and the supply side is strengthened, we will get a common market, and then access for information is created. Now, this is where Vart is coming in. Our technology should be able to connect farmers to the suppliers of the inputs so that they get to know each other, they can access information, they can get inputs in time and the rest. So this is the design of how we are moving. Those challenges are so many and Vart cannot address at once. Being a technology company, for now, we are concentrating here. But also, we are bringing this component so that at least we have a one-stop of platform that you get everything from production to marketing, like along the value chain. So for now, all my explanations will base here. That's how we're doing. Vart has designed a technology that uses scratch cards. These scratch cards are just like the usual airtime that you scratch, and when you feed in, you get your money in your phone, right? That's the simple way I can explain this. So why are we doing this? We are doing this to address the challenges I mentioned about. The first thing, we profile the farmer into the system. And in the process of profiling, we are also assessing the needs. What do you need? How many acres do you have? Do you need mechanization services? What other inputs do you need? Do you need maize? If maize, how many kilos? All those information captured at profiling. And in that same way, we are aggregating demand. Because if we now know that, Tukwe, we have 70 farmers who need maize, this particular kilos, and they need at this particular time, it is much easier for Vart to say, look, Agrisol, can you supply? This is what we are looking at. So the system also allows the farmer to now pre-order. So if we profile you, and then now we say, okay, since this is your need, can you order? So using the same mobile phone, you can make an order, and that order is received in our system. So There is a challenge of high cost of these inputs. And we are saying, can these farmers pay for these inputs bit by using the scratch cards I'm talking about? That's why once you enroll in our system, you make your order, you now start buying the scratch cards towards the order you have made. So you can buy the scratch card for 2,500, just scratch and load it there. Your money will be there towards the target that the system has set. You buy for 5,000, whatever money you have. And this, you believe me that our rural women, they can get small bits of this money. You go to the market to buy things, 1,000 remains, put it into the system towards the target of your inputs or the tractor services. So when this, like your target is met, we just connect to the tractor operators. Please go and plow. If your order was about mechanization. If your order was about supply of seeds or fertilizer, we connect you to agro input dealers. We are saying for this case, Agrisol, and they deliver to you the inputs in time at the onset of the rainy season. The same technology we are using for the supply of the tractor services. Here now we are handling 2 sites at once. For the farmer, you can book the tractor service using the same platform. You can order, you can enroll and save in bid still, then you can have your on-time tractor access. The system allows us to employ women and youth as our booking agents. It was already mentioned here in the previous presentation that our farmers are not highly educated. So sometimes even the use of smartphone becomes a problem. So our model uses booking agents to support some of these farmers who cannot work with the smartphones, to help them do the profiling, do the ordering, then the sale of the scratch cards, and they get commission afterwards. So that's business on their side. If you are a tractor owner, we are saying there's also opportunity for you here. Stop lamenting that tractor operators are stealing your money. Stop lamenting that you cannot manage your tractor business. The technology is up here to help you run your tractor business. We'll put for you a tracking device in your tractor. We upload the app in your phone. Within that app, you are able to receive notifications of all the bookings that farmers are making, and you get to know that I'm needed somewhere. Through that same system, you as a tractor owner, this one we are aware, our rural farmers cannot buy tractors. Most of the people who own tractors are big businessmen. Some are also politicians, some are ministers, and they don't have time to keep following tractors in the field. So we are saying use this platform. You are able to locate your tractor. You are able to know if the tractor is on or off. You are able to know if the tractor has worked today, and if it has worked, how many acres. On-time information. You are able to geofence. If you don't want your tractor to move out of a location, you geofence. Once it crosses that location, it will go off. You can remotely also put off your tractor. In case now you realize the operator is big-headed and not hearing you, put off the tractor. You will go and get it where it is. You also get maintenance alerts. Then access to farmers and agents' contacts. So this technology, we feel farmers can access mechanization services. Tractor owners can manage their tractor businesses. Agro input dealers can access farmers' data and also manage their business using the same platform. Then farmers also access inputs and tractor services in time. This is also a bit of a side business within the same company. We are providing training on tractor operation. I told you that it's not easy to get them. So this was towards the end of last year. We were training some operators with the support of John Deere Company and Hello Tractor. We are running a project with the Feed the Future I Am project, and we are doing this in collaboration with the Agrisol. The gentleman is right here, and I saw also one of his staffs. Hello. So we are doing discounting of seeds using the same technology, Yamalo saving scratch cards, to 1,800 farmers in Lao and Karamoja sub-region. Some of those photos, this was the training of booking agents. I think the other one was sensitization somewhere in Oyam. Good. There we go. We are now talking about gender in technology. What is our technology talking about or dealing in the gender issues? I already told you about percentage, don't forget. Now, if I'm talking about access, we are talking about the same smallholder farmers who are women, accessing inputs in time and quality inputs, then also tractor services. Also accessing the networks of private sector actors and also other information that they require. Now, what about the affordability? We know the inputs are high, but our intervention of the scratch card allows that farmer to save bit by bit. You heard about from the video, the Musée was saying when it is time for farming, they start running around borrowing money. But if you start saving in bits, at least you will meet your target in time and your inputs are supplied in time. We are doing this because at harvest, these farmers have money, but they end up spending the whole money. And when it is March, they need inputs, the money is gone. So we are saying, when you have it, save it. So saving in bits help. The app is already developed for quick access and easy access. There is also employment opportunity for women and youth as our booking agent. You have had them. Then the technology is attractive to youth. You know the use of smartphones. Oh my God, social media. The current perspective. We know about the Sustainable Development Goals. Number 1, I think, is no poverty, right? Then number 2 is zero hunger. Decent employment, I think, should be number 8. Then climate smart agriculture. So this is the discussion. If we are to address some of those, which is very key to us, to our smallholder farmers, we need to focus on women because the percentage is very clear. Now, how do we focus on women? We already know that smallholder farmers are mainly women. So can we make agriculture attractive to them? Can we support interventions that can ease the access to these inputs and services and knowledge and market information? So this is the area that policy makers and then government should come in. Do we have an enabling environment? Can we provide it for private sector actors to flourish? And here we are talking about policies in business. We are talking about infrastructure. I mentioned something about the bad roads. We are also talking about funds. Can private sector access some of these? Can development partners work with the local private sector to get our farmers access some of these? So can we have dialogue like today we are having? And a dialogue should not just be a dialogue. A dialogue should lead to something, right? So we are looking at public-private partnership. Some private sector actors are willing to work with the government. We should feed the future for the start of this. We should keep it up so that at least we can work as a team and as stakeholders in the development of our country. So about our technology, we are also looking at now integrating the market information and market linkages into our technology just to make it a one-stop center where a farmer can access inputs for production, can access market, and they earn their money in time and with ease. Then another serious issue is integrating weather information. When we were doing climate vulnerability assessment in 2018, in Lango and Acholi sub-region, we realized almost every district has got some small weather station. I call it like that. But where do we access this? You go there are no staffs who can read information. The information has to be sent to the center to Entebbe, and it comes back past season. And when it is coming back, it is still in a raw form that a local farmer cannot interpret. So what is the use of these weather stations? And yet we need this information. We need to know when rain is coming back. We also need to plan as private sector actors to supply inputs in time. Farmers need to prepare their guidance. So if we can work with the private sector actors to get some of this information and make it more easily accessible to farmers, maybe something very, very interesting. Okay, my main interest is here. I asked someone at the beginning of the session whether we have academia inside the house. However much we try to work as government, as private sector, as farmers, we need academia near us. We need these researchers. There are issues that me as a private sector actors will not want to engage in, but I would want to receive that information. So academia or universities or researchers can take this up to help us also design interventions that are easily utilized by farmers. I know that this is an area that people don't want to touch, but I'm going to say it. Our universities are losing focus. These researchers, they call themselves professors. I'm sorry to say this, but when you start looking for publications from these professors to help you design interventions, you don't see them. Just try one day at your free time. Just try searching on Google. Everyone now knows Google. You will only get one publication, a thesis that was submitted at the university, and they hide this information. So what are they using them for? We need this information. So we need to work with the researchers. They need to come on board and stop leaving agricultural research to only narrow. You see, these universities have now made narrow to become so narrow, you know? Agricultural research cuts across. We need gender researchers to come and start researching about this. What are the intra-household decision-making dynamics? Who makes decision at the household level? The overall answer will say men, but there are so many questions. Why men? And at what time? Is that information in time and profitable to the woman who is a smallholder farmer, who is supplying the whole Uganda with the food? So there's a lot to do. Researchers need to come on board and make agriculture wide. A lot of social research must come in. So this is also where culture needs to come in. They talked about social norms here. Who has got access to smartphones at the household? So when Vart sends information, who receives the information? How is that information? What about the uptake and the adoption? There's a lot to question there, and we don't know it. These universities, these researchers, to make our work better. That's already seen. You already see that there is still a gap there because of these questions. You go to profile a woman as a smallholder farmer, we'll say, okay, you put the name of my husband, there's no problem. Oh, what is your phone number? I have food for my husband, there's no problem. So our system will capture the man, and yet we know that is women who are doing what? So there's a gap that also cultural leaders, you need to join hands. Now I'm glad that this will be a start of a serious engagement that should not stop. Bring on board culture, bring on board government, bring on board research, bring on board development partners, private sector and farmers. Then we see how we move on. Thank you so much. I say bye for now. I will wait for questions and the discussions. Thank you.